Happy last happy last 15 minutes of um, February 7th. Got my heater on, so if you guys can hear that, because it's kind of cold in here. This is a Sci-Fi Center live semi-overnight. It's going to be more like a Midnight Express tonight. Just wanted to stop in and say hi. The Sci-Fi Center, all of our streams are brought to you by some of our sponsors, primarily me, because I don't pimp myself enough on these things. So, brought to you by the Sci-Fi Center. We're on March 31st through April 1st. We will be presenting the first ever Tromania. What Tromania is going to be is a kind of like a film festival with the two primary movies. One on Friday night, one on Saturday night. Is the Las Vegas premiere of Eating Miss Campbell, and Shakespeare's Shitstorm will premiere on Saturday. Lloyd Kaufman will be here in person to present those movies. We're also going to have an independent spot for, like you guys have already probably seen. We are going to be doing a contest too for local and filmmakers across the world, independent ones, and what we'll have them do is send in their movie, and we will judge it, and we will the winners will be presented by Lloyd Kaufman that night of the event. So Tromania, March 31st, April 1st. Lloyd Kaufman will be there. We'll be showing some really kick-ass movies, Troma style. Two movies that have not premiered in Vegas, brand new or semi-brand new movies that have not been on a Vegas screen yet. We will have them on our screen at the Sci-Fi Center. My other sponsor is a little bit bigger. Impact Wrestling presents No Surrender on February 21st. And then they will be doing two television tapings after that. Saturday, February 25th is Fallout, and night two is Fallout, Sunday, February 26th. I have passes to this that I will be giving away. If you are going to be in the Vegas area for this weekend, then you are eligible to win some of these. And some of you who are local watching on my channel, I definitely will be sending some of you to. I think I have 10 pairs, and I also have posters and stuff to give away. I am a huge, a big wrestling fan, and I am a fan of Impact Wrestling. I'm not just pimping the product because they asked me to. I am pimping the product because I watch it on a weekly basis. So those are our two sponsors today. Let me go ahead and say hi to whoever's in the chat. It is Chappie. How are you doing? Once again, we got for those of you who are just not getting a good notification, I'll go ahead and wait for you to roll in. But yeah, I'm on vacation from a lot of different things, and weird. So a lot of the work I'm going to be getting done is on the studio situation is going to be happening over the next couple of days. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night you'll see part of the new setup. I decided to go ahead and keep it this way because I have way more room going this way to mount the camera and mount the lights right in front of me, and I can have the TV off to my side here, and I will be able to watch the chat and watch myself and find out if I freeze and everything else. So it's going to be this way. I'm going to redo that shelf, and I'm going to put all my belts, some of my belts there, and some of them are going to be in the front. So I'll dick around with it and play around with it. But I think I'm going to use this section right here. I may change it when the summer comes around. We have to put on the swap heater. It kind of gets loud, but we'll play around with it. But like I said, this is going to be the weekend where you're going to see some visual changes on both of our sets, both the Sci-Fi Center one. I'll be finishing off the studio area there, and then here I'll be rearranging things and getting on better lighting. Like right now, biggest complaint that I have, and I know a lot of people brought it up, is this just an impromptu setup? This is never supposed to be. I bought this microphone and set them up because a lot of times I would begin a stream with Enosh on at the Sci-Fi Center, and he would go on long enough to where when I got home, I would jump back on. And I didn't want to jump back on with my phone or just a regular standard stuff, so I got a microphone. But I do have better cameras and stuff that I'm going to be adding in, and I have another light that's going to light me up. And then this area will be cleared out to where, I'll set up some colored lights and everything else, so it'll look cool. Yes, it's inevitable. We know what that is. I'm doing okay. Like I said, I'm just popping in and out, trying to keep some consistency with the schedule, and at least do a bulk of days in a row to where you're not going 2 or 3 days without a stream for me. No huge news right now to present. I mean, there's a lot of stupid shit going on. HBO Max is going to call their new, apparently, from what I'm hearing, is going to call their new streaming service WBD Max. I cannot tell you how dumb an idea that is. That's just stupid. HBO has a brand name and a trusted brand name that goes all the way back from. I mean, you think of Sunday night, some of the hits and some of the things that HBO has produced for Sunday nights. I mean, Sopranos, 6 Feet Under, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Last of Us, The Wire. I mean, it is synonymous with that type of quality. People know HBO. It is a trusted brand. Why would you change that? And I understand WBD, Warner Brothers has been around for 100 years, but it doesn't have the kind of connection to it. When you hear that static, that zoom, you know something really good's about to happen on that screen. People trust HBO as a brand. So I don't see why they are changing it. I hope that's not true. I hope that gets shut down, but it's stupid. How you doing, Mighty Rex? What's going on, Fourth? Yeah, just in case you guys didn't realize, Integrity 101 is still holding out. I made an even stronger case the other day when I was talking to somebody. I don't know if I said so on the screen, but I think that once these movies are done and we're about to lead into what James Gunn's doing, I think there should be several box sets. I think I did tell you guys about this. Each of them with distinct shapes, sizes, and offerings. Superman's. Remember that little thing that Superman plugs in Man of Steel? The thing that plugs into the Zero Drive? It's the thing he plugged into his Solitude or Fortress of Solitude. Little black S, just like a crystal, and with a slanted Superman emblem. That's CD set number 1. That has Man of Steel in it. What I would put in there is not just Man of Steel. It's part of what Snyder was doing. Each superhero had a part into it. It was supposed to be presented as a movie, but here's what I want to do, because like I said, you follow the money. I create that, and I have that in there, and I have some form. I would go animation, because you could really do some really kick-ass animation, a la 2003's The Animatrix. You can tell a really kick-ass story. I'm not the biggest 90s animation fan, but some of the newer stuff DC's done is good. But if you get some really good, you get Jay Lee, if you get some really good animators on that, you tell Superman's part of that arc in that bonus part of that Blu-ray. All right, that is his part into it. And you get a cartoon, you get a voice actor. If you can get Cavill, great. But you tell that part of the story, and then what you do, because you have this new thing coming. I would be getting together with James Gunn and having him do interviews, because by that time you're going to have a casting, and you will have already either filmed or started pre-production, and then you tie that into your new thing, because you're even if you restart aspects of the universe, these movies are still released and they still sell well. DVDs and Blu-rays are very, very cheap to make. They're not expensive. Even when you put the extra stuff in them, if you mass produce them, they are not expensive. The people, like I said before, the people who are saddest about physical media dying were the people who made it, because the profit margin was so huge. Now, you probably ask me, well, if physical media is dying, why do this? Not all physical media is dying. There's still a market for special sets and stuff. They sell out all the time. And Zack Snyder stuff sold out at Walmart before I had a chance to get it in some regions. The average, when your movie comes out, going to get it on Blu-ray or going to the rental or, Redbox, that is dying. But specific cases are doing well. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, doing well. Every they sold millions on top of millions, and to this day are still selling box sets of Game of Thrones. All right, that's the original, not the new one. The original went off like 3-4 years ago, and they're still selling, re-releasing and selling specials. The profit margin is there, the money is there. So you do that one with Superman. Your next one, you do a box set, and with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's box set is her sword with a shield, and you can take these swords and shields off, and with her shield on top of it. All right, and then her part of it is her part of the arc with Darkseid, but you're releasing Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 2 in there, if you want to watch Wonder Woman 84, but it's in there. All right, And you also get with James Gunn and say, hey, you got this Paradise Lost thing coming up. This is your audience. Connect that. Do an interview in there. Do a special one feature in there. And it's a collectible. It's not just, you going and buying a regular Blu-ray. It's a collectible. It comes with a collectible shield, comes with a kick-ass sword, and a really kick-ass box. People buy that shit all the time. I sell it. I sell it just fine. All right, so we take that one, and then we do an Aquaman. All right, by that time, Aquaman 2 have already been done. Aquaman 1's already there. Double DB set. Our Blu-ray set. I keep saying DVDs. Blu-ray. His one has a nice trident on it, the head of the trident, and then you can unfold it if you want to. But the whole thing is the head of the trident on his orange scaly shirt. All right, Flash, same thing. You use Flash's old costume, the old armor costume with the nice logo on it, so it looks like his chest plate. Inside, you have the Flash, and this is after you do the Flash the movie, right? And so you have his part of it and whatever he does, and so on and so on and so on. All right. And each one of these things has a piece of the overall story. And then when you buy the final set, like say if you just want them all and you got the money, and that's how they sell. Like I said before, it's a planet. But if you remember that scene where the anti-equation and when the unity happens and the planet is scorched, when you turn it, it's a lenticular hologram that scorches the Earth when you turn it this way, and you turn it the other way, it goes back to being the Earth that was saved. And then when you turn it that way, that scorched Earth has the Omega symbol on it. And when you turn it the other way, it has a JL logo on it. You open it up at the equator, all your sets are in there. All right. These things sell all the time. It doesn't cost that much to make stuff like that. So that's what I think they should do. I don't know about Zack Snyder, Justice League 1, 2, and 3, but if you do that, you finish the story. Now, people are going to be like, well, the Snyder fans won't, but once again, don't give a care. Do not care. Right? As somebody who's running a business, I'm not doing it for these fringes of either side. I'm doing it for the 95% in the middle. That stuff has been proven to sell. So not only does Warner Brothers make a profit off of stories that they've already told, they make something new content for cheap, and after it's done, it's running. Guess what can go on HBO Max after you sold enough of them? It's money. It's profit. Follow the money. And then these brand new guys that are coming in, seeing your Brave and Bold, seeing your Superman Legacy, they just don't have to sit around on their ass having just watched one movie and every 2 years or so get another one. They don't have to wait around to see Batman for what, 3 movies in 9 years that it's going to take Reeves. They can now be exposed to this content that's already sitting there. They'll buy that stuff. So yeah, I think there's ways to do it. People just got to actually commit to doing it. All right, Tron Mania looks awesome. Did Toxic Avenger ever make any comics? Yes, they did. I actually have them, and the ones that I have are going to be signed by Lloyd Kaufman when he's here. Episode 4, Last of Us was left on. Okay, episode 4 of Last of Us was my least favorite episode. However, it was a very important episode. It was a very important part of the story, and you're introduced to a character at the end that is very important to their story. So it wasn't the best of them. Last of them, get it, best of them. But it was still an integral part of the story. So like I said, they're not all. Listen, the previous 3 were excellent. That's you. It's hard to keep that kind of standard. I mean, very few shows like Game of Thrones does it, but even they slip up every now and then. There were certain episodes of House of the Dragon where they weren't my favorite, but they were still great. Episode great, Lisa my favorite as well, but by no means bad TV. It's not TV, it's HBO. Timeless catchphrase. Like I said, you hear that tune. Where is it? Hold on. Let me find. What's that? What do they call that? The static entrance? HBO static. Yeah, it's called HBO Static Intro. So when you went to this, let me go ahead and get that out of there. Of course, I got to go through 5 million different steps to show you something. HBO static info and So you all remember this. All right. So when you heard that, you knew something something kick ass was about to happen, right? Why would you why would you move away from that? That name carries a lot, even in the bad times. HBO has a brand name. WBD is a brand new company, and you're not even using a 100-year-old name. You're using if you were using Warner Brothers Max, maybe, or Warner Max like they were before, maybe, but you're truncating the actual legendary name of Warner Brothers. So if you're going to do that, just go ahead and keep HBO. I hope this is something. I mean, I heard it was going down, but I hope it's not. It just sounds so stupid. Inevitable. There you go. Like I said, I just laid out a money making plan that would provide new content for cheap. It wouldn't please everybody, but I'm not in business to please everybody. I'm in business to please as many people as possible. There are going to be some people. Well, I'm not going to watch it if it's not exactly what Zack Snyder did. You know what? Then don't. Then don't. Most of us moderate people, we just want an ending to the story. And for someone who will be running a business and running this division, I want completion so that when people walk into this house, Superman Legacy and Woman of Tomorrow. All these things are invitations. Consider them as housewarming invitations, or consider them as I'm opening up a brand new business, and you know how they give you those coupons because I want you to come and check out my place, right? But I don't just want you to focus on the coupon. And basically, what Zack Snyder's slate is a coupon. It's to get me in the door. But there's tons of Warner Brothers DC content that's out there in circulation being presented on TV, TBS, TNT, other channels, other networks, other streaming services, HBO Max. So I want that new person, not necessarily me. I want that brand new person to go see Superman Legacy, get excited about Superman, and be able to draw a direct line back to its predecessors. Whether you restart a universe or aspect of it or not, that product is still there, and you can do things in this digital era to make that old content relevant to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just leaving money on the table. But people don't want to see an incomplete product. Complete that circle, complete that product, and then once you're done watching Man of Whatever or Superman Legacy or any of these other things that got out, you get on HBO Max. And what does every streaming service do? They recommend you stuff. As soon as you get done watching, certain content, it recommends you to like content. And if you get in there and start typing Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, all this stuff, it's going to start leading you to all of this stuff. And what do you want them to find? Do you want them to find a broken, disorganized, mismanaged story that made up almost 9 years? Or do you want them to find a finished product so that they can keep taking that momentum that you just gave them on and on and on? It's just about business. I've seen other people who do hashtags and hashtags this, hashtags that. These are fine. And I'm glad that people are getting involved. But if you're going to get anybody to do anything and they're running a business, you have to give them business reasons for doing so. And I just laid out some, like the Ayer cut. There's no business reason to do the Ayer cut at this point. All right. None that anybody who wanted it that I've ever heard of ever provided them. They just said, "Oh, we want the Ayer cut because it's Ayer cut's vision. It wouldn't cost anything." There's no business reason to do the Ayer cut right now. You would have to present one, and you could use the model I just did. Add that. So we're gonna go ahead and do a Suicide Squad box set as part of that universe. And hell, you could sell several of those. Could you imagine the Suicide Squad deluxe box set with Harley's bat on it and all the weapons of them on it? And then guess what? You put that in there. You put the Ayer cut in that Suicide Squad. Why? Because that particular version of the Suicide Squad leads directly to that storyline with that Joker and all that in it. So there's just money. Whenever you're thinking about whether we can do something on it or whether we shouldn't do that or not, follow the money. Fans in general don't do that. I'm on all kinds of streams and I hear people giving me their fanboy logic reasons or why something's never going to happen or why something should happen. No one ever starts with the commerce end of it. And that's the most important end of it. All right. Stockholders don't give a fuck about fans. at this point in the game. So you have to give them a reason, and you got to show them, present something to them. Like if I had James Gunn sitting in front of me right now, or anybody that I would have models and stuff, all these things. Even if it's keep firing from stuff, each DVD set and how much it would cost, why you should do this, how this can help do, things for your thing. So there's just a lot of a conversation we had. We've just had the wrong conversation. We've resorted to hashtags. All right. Hashtags don't replace reasoning. So give them a reason to do it. And I think, and don't worry about if you're doing things for a certain part of any fandom, you're doing the wrong things. You need to do things for Joe Average. Joe's six pack makes up 90% of all things spent. That goes for Star Wars, that goes for Star Trek, that goes for comic book, that goes for comic book movies. Us geeks like to think we're in the forefront, and maybe we are. We're the loudest ones. But when it comes to cash, it's that guy or gal or family in the middle that you need to make your money on. And they make up a lot more than any hashtag you could ever imagine. So it can be done. It just has to be, there's got to be a business plan behind it. Hello, Slipknot. Slipknot, what up? Oh, we're going to have I would buy that even if I couldn't afford it. Yeah, and you know what? Like I said, remember, these box sets sell well. Those are actually the only physical media that actually really does well, because you can make them limited, and you're not just giving somebody something to watch on the TV, you're giving them something to collect, something cool. If you could afford to buy them all and have them all, and then have the final version, the world on your shelf, that would make that shelf look awesome. All right, you look at a guy like Enosh. Look at what's in his background, all that stuff. Can you imagine some of the stuff I'm saying being sitting back there with all that stuff that I'm going to rob him and take? But that's, people like cool stuff like that. And even at a decent price, the profit margin, it doesn't take a lot to mass produce these things, especially when you have the history of sales, man. I mean, it would be cool. And like I said, if you couldn't buy the whole thing, if you're Superman, Man of Steel was your deal, you get the Superman one. It's still going to look cool. And as time goes on, you get them all. But what that does is that puts something in your hand for the fan, for the old fan and the new fan can come together on this one, because they're being catered to. All right, I'm catering to your new universe, which I think, yeah, it is time for. But at the same time, I'm wrapping up the disorganization and the loose pieces from the previous one, so that not only me, but your brand new customer that you're bringing in has something to read, watch, and buy. The same things James Gunn is, and thank you, James Gunn, is doing by tying these storylines to what he's doing and making, helping out the comic book industry. He can tie his future to his past and sell a whole bunch of stuff. And it's all under his purview. He didn't make that stuff, but if he's the one that institutes that plan, he's going to be like a god, man. The shareholders will kiss his ass. So something to think about. All right. Oh, yeah. Internet problem sucks. What will Lloyd's cameo be in Guardians? I don't know. And I doubt I'll be able to get it out of him when he's here either. It's interesting that Mr. H likes JEH as Freddy. Oh, Jackie earlier here as Freddy. I actually thought JEH was terrible as Freddy Krueger, but it was probably, as Tom said, he had nothing to work with. Well, he played a Freddy Krueger that's not synonymous with Freddy Krueger. He actually played a good Freddy Krueger. It's just one of the reasons why, and this is something me and Enosh were talking about, one of the reasons why remakes and reimaginings, relaunches, and reboots generally fail is because a lot of what's trying to be reproduced, it can't be. You cannot reproduce Robert Englund's role in Aura. You just can't. No matter how good a job that Jackie Earle did, he was playing a a modern day Freddy Krueger that, just like I said, it was never going to be him. I mean, even if he played it, if you had never seen Freddy Krueger, maybe Jackie Earle Haley's version would have been great. But we have seen Freddy Krueger, and we've seen him for like 30, 40 years. So that's a problem. Yeah. Why would you lose that, man? And the script wasn't digressed, but he himself played a different role, a pretty decent role. Oz, yeah, I even left out Oz. Yeah, prison drama, all kinds of graphic prison drama. Hey, it's going on, Anthony. Oz, another great TV show. Hey, William, been hearing some bad reviews. So, okay, so they're coming from people who I don't give a shit about. I'm not going to name names, but there are certain people who do reviews, and I usually really don't care about their reviews, and I usually differ in their opinion when I actually go see the movie. Some of the people I'm hearing from said Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder were great movies and top tier Marvel. So those are people I'm not going to listen to. It could be. It depends. I've heard good. I've heard it's a science fiction movie, and I heard things thrown out like Blade Runner and all kinds of other stuff that appeal to me. And I may be biased because I've wanted to see Kang on screen all my life, and now I'm probably going to see that. And I heard that from some of the people who've seen it that his performance puts him past what Thanos was. Thanos was an idiot, and Kang is a genius. So that there. But as far as cinematically, so I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna be going to see an advanced screening next Tuesday. I'll do it out of the embargo lifts that just before then, so I'll be able to. I'm not under embargo because actually no, I would be. If I go if I go on their dime, I would be under it with the embargo still up. But I think the embargo will be up. But I will. I think it's next. Is it next week? Yeah, it's next week. And then the week after that, I think it's Cocaine Bear, which I'm definitely going to see. But I'm also seeing Blue Blood and Honey the day after I'm seeing Ant-Man. So I'll let you guys know what I think. And if I think it sucks, listen. When it comes to MCU, I think I have no problem telling you if the movie blows or not. It looks like I might enjoy it, but I'll be honest with you. I'll give you right out of the theater review. Getting dry. So yeah, I've heard that too. I heard it. I've seen some of the reviews, and I'm still going to go see it. I'm going to ask William the same question, see his opinion. I hope I got to that question. William, thought on WB drop HBO brand? What's his mistake for you? Yes, I did. I hit that before. And I think it's a horrible mistake when you have a ready-made brand that people love and familiar with. Well, why change it? Even if you had to add on HBO Discovery Max, I know that sounds long, but I mean, like I said, if you were going to use Warner, you shouldn't use an acronym. You should use the word Warner Max. All right, or because if you're not going to use HBO, which for like the last 40 years has set that kind of standard, then use the studio that has a 100-year standard. And regardless of what we might think of WB Warner Brothers management at times, Jack Warner started the company nearly a century ago, and it's been putting out movies and winning Academy Awards and making money ever since. It has a name. So if you're not going to use HBO, then don't abbreviate Warner. I think that's stupid, but that's just me. Let's see everyone else. It is 30 minutes, so we're going to about 15 more minutes. Hanging in there. Same here. William, did you like Jackie Earl Haley's Freddy Krueger? Yes, I did. I didn't like the movie, and I understand why he got slaughtered as far as being Freddy Krueger, but I liked his individual performance. Once again, that last part, it's not easy to replace Robert Englund. That's the shadow that hung over the movie, and you have to kind of do that perfectly. You don't have any margin for error. How are you doing, Taryn? All right, Joe Sixpack wants a sequel to Jackie. Well, yeah, Joe Sequel is not like clamoring for it, but Joe Sixpack will go see it. Joe Sixpack will go see it. Joe Sixpack saw these other movies. Joe Sixpack buys DVDs. Joe Sixpack, he's not, he buys these special editions that I'm talking about. So, William, are you watching all these new Ant-Man trailers? We're looking super fire with this King. Oh, shit. Yes, I did. I especially saw the one with where it looks like King is losing his mind and just starts blasting people. So I'm hyped for it. Well, it could suck, but I'm hyped for it. And I don't get too hyped for Marvel movies because they're standard fare at this point. How you doing, Nicotina? Oh, okay, you're not on tonight. You're not invading me tonight. That's good. All Joe Sixpacks at least agree Zack Snyder Justice League is good. And Justice League. Well, yeah. Well, with Joe Sixpack, when naming him that, the average fan, he spoke by not coming back to any of the other stuff. All right. I mean, after a while, once that Joe Sixpack realized that these movies weren't going, we all came out for Aquaman because we all thought we were getting a continuation, BB, all that kind of stuff, and even Joe Sixpack may have liked to some degree the Joss Whedon version, but that alone wouldn't have been enough. The output that Warner Brothers put out as far as their movies after that just pretty much didn't give anything for the average fan to come back to. You went from Superman to Weasel. You went from Wonder Woman to Peacemaker. And granted, everybody's saying, "Oh, Peacemaker's great. It's the greatest thing to HBO since nuclear fission." All right, but here's the thing about Peacemaker and that character and those characters, the associated characters. We had an opportunity. A lot of people had an opportunity to go see the Suicide Squad in theaters and chose not to. And I know the reason of the pandemic came in, but if you look, there are several movies around there in that general area, Godzilla versus Kong, a couple other movies that actually made pretty decent money in that same period. All right. It didn't just lose pandemic money, it lost a crap load of other money. When you look at the Suicide Squad's box office, and I enjoyed the Suicide Squad, so I'm not knocking it like in that regard. But from a decision making point of view, so the budget for the Suicide Squad was 185 million. It pulled in worldwide 168 million. Now, and you'll also say, well, it was released day and date. Godzilla versus Kong was released. Suicide Squad was released in August, and if I'm not correct, I think Godzilla versus Kong was released under the same circumstances, but earlier in the virus period. As a matter of fact, Godzilla versus Kong was released in March. All right, remember, we didn't even have vaccination until April. So even if you had the Omicron variant, which I think we might have had, you still had vaccinations. You still had we were almost 4.5 months in the vaccinations and theaters filling back up. All right, so the budget for Godzilla vs. Kong was 155 to 200 million, so roughly the same. Yet, even with day and date, even with us still being in the pandemic and with no vaccine, Godzilla vs. Kong found already pull in $470 million. So the excuses that people are throwing at why Suicide Squad didn't do well are not, I don't think, are as valid as they think. The Suicide Squad had a bunch of people that no one knew who they were. Now, when people like to look at the success of the Peacemaker and the fact that Suicide Squad's numbers were great on HBO Max, if we ever get to see those numbers, you're sitting at home. All right. When I go to a movie, I'm not only just making an emotional investment, I'm making a financial investment. I'm driving around in $4 and $5 a gallon gas, depending on where you are. I'm taking the kids with me. I'm buying food. I'm taking time out of my day. So if I'm making that investment, that means I really want to see that movie. Those factors are not in play when you're watching on HBO Max. All right. If I don't want to take a risk on a bunch of characters I never heard of, I can give it a chance on HBO Max for the price of my 14 or whatever dollar subscription. I don't have to spend 50, 60, 70 bucks for a family or a date night or my friends if I'm paying or, together. I don't have to spend that kind of money, on HBO Max. And if I don't like it, I don't have to finish watching it. So you're talking about something that wasn't good enough for people to make a financial effort to go see when they had the chance. But you'll shout those numbers and say, well, this is why we had success here and not, So like I said, it's people have touted a lot of different things, but like I said, it's just like Dune. Well, Warner Brothers betrayed their partners by putting it on day and day. You know what? Everybody that wanted to see Dune on the big screen saw Dune on the big screen. The people that were on the fence that were never going to give that IP a chance, they got a chance to see it at their house. And guess what? They may be around to pay for the second time around. But had it not been for HBO Max, they would have seen it. But yeah, so they're basing the success and popularity saying that these characters were popular than what we had before based on HBO Max, you know. But when we had the chance to do the same things that we said we did, which was go see Man of Steel make 700 million, 678 million, BBS 871 million. Granted, there was no HBO Max, but your other option was not go see it at all. So I keep and everybody who says, by the way, that Black Adam not making $1 billion is why all these changes are made. That's bullshit. Because James Gunn's The Suicide Squad lost them probably about $60 or $7 million, and he's running DC films. And I don't have a problem with that. I think it's stupid knee jerk reaction to react to things all the time, given the circumstances. So the Suicide Squad had some circumstances about it, but its biggest circumstance was mismanagement. It should have never been released, not in the pocket that it was released in. You release that in the middle, behind a Superman movie or in front of a Batman movie, that movie doesn't lose money even in a pandemic. So there you go. The worst I've ever heard from a normie was that it wasn't that different. Nobody said it sucked, though. No. But the people who have watched it, the normies that do watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's like night and day for them. That was unforgivable. Please take this as notice that we are now officially enemies. What's unforgivable? What? I don't know what I'm forgetting. What am I unforgiving for? William thought, no, I don't want to see this. Fuck this. I do not want to see this. I do not. Listen, we have ridden the Dexter train as far as we can go. And 2 awful endings to 2 very good series, I'm done. All right, unless you're going to tell me that he woke up and it was all a dream and none of the bullshit that happened during those last idiotic 2 episodes of New Blood happened, maybe. But I think we've driven Dexter into the ground. It's not special anymore. No, and a prequel too? No. I already know how it ends. All right. The main thing I never found was GAH is FK was scary at all. Robert Englund can still scare me. Robert Englund, after the first one, didn't scare me. He made me laugh more than he scared me. It's just me, though. Kang looks 6. Yeah, he does. Oh, man. He just, like I said, they look like they've done him right. I may hate the movie, but I may love Kang. Can we guess on ways Disney will ruin Kang? Kang, you mean? From what I've seen, they haven't. But once again, I haven't seen the movie yet. So, saw Knock at the Cowboy. Good but not great. David Tebow definitely got better at acting. I actually thought it was just above good. I wouldn't put it in the greatest, but it was gripping for me, and I thought it was pretty decent. All right. All right, you guys are hey Daniel, you guys are pissing each other off. William thought on Showtime exploring Dexter's on no, just like even if it's a Trinity killer, I have no interest, none. All right, we're at 40 minutes. Gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. Based on what I've seen, they're going to be pretty high. I hold Marvel to a high standard because you know what they've, for the most part, when it comes to stuff I like, they've done it. And Jonathan Majors is a great guy, dude. That guy's ripped up, by the way. Have you seen him? He's on Men's Health magazine. He looks like he's chiseled out of rock and granite. This guy. Oh, by the way, Jonathan Majors, guy who plays King, has the same birthday I do. He was born on September 7th. That's cool. That's good to know. I'm just looking up his age right now. All right. Pooh Blood and Honey will be a good palate cleanser for Ant-Man 3. I'm gonna it's gonna be a mind fuck is what it's gonna be. Ant-Man franchise is the only for family that there's nothing more about it. Yeah, but like I said, it's introducing Kang. So you already have my money there. Do you think Constantine 2 will be a part of the gun story? Personally, I think it's best. I think it'll be an Elseworlds. 40. William Dredd 2012 thoughts. I thought it was unique. Carl Urban was cool. I actually like Dredd 2012. And I like Carl Urban in that role. Yeah, No Way Home doing great during the pandemic. Guess what? Just like the same reason why Godzilla versus Kong did well, people know who Spider-Man is, and people know who Godzilla is. People know who King Kong is. They don't know who Polka Dot Man is. They don't know who Weasel is. You know, they know Harley Quinn, but she's part of the movie. That's not enough to pry that money out of my pocket. You can't put, especially when you're DC, your expectations for DC, Superman, Batman, and the rest. Until I'm starting to talk too much and I'm reaching the 45-minute mark because I'm starting to dry out. But yeah, if you put IPs that people know about, they'll come see you. If you put obscure IPs, you're asking people to gamble. They're not going to do it. Dredd has aged well, integrity. I definitely want to see something more from that property. Yeah, it is Fleet Press. Every time I hear the name Kang, I think of Kang and Kodos, the aliens from the Simpsons. Oh, stop that. Every time I hear Kang, I think of Kang. Sequel. What hurt the Suicide Squad? What Ann started off article that left a bad taste in people's mouth. Well, yeah, I think a bigger issue with Suicide Squad is it was full of throwaway characters that no one knew what it was. You spent nearly $200 million on characters that no one knows who they are, and trying to say, well, people didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. Okay, same movie, or not same movie, same filmmaker, right? Two different companies, two different sets of management. Guardians of the Galaxy had 20 some odd Marvel movies before it came out, and the credibility of those movies helped prop up Guardians of the Galaxy, because without Marvel Cinematic Universe or those movies to back it up, Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't even get made. All right, so whereas the same filmmaker made a movie with obscure characters and it didn't do well because A, you didn't have the movies behind it, and B, you didn't have the reputation for people to trust you with obscure characters with their money. Dredd the musical. It's incredible if you guys haven't seen it. No, I have not. I didn't even know it existed. Holy shit. All right, keep hearing possible series sequels is yeah. It's always hearsay until Birds of Prey General. Yeah, just don't know who these fucking characters are. And, I'm not saying that these were bad movies or I didn't enjoy them. Just don't know who they are. You're expecting a general audience beyond the comic book geek to pull money out of their pocket for, Captain Boomerang. At no time in my life that even my army, I'm in pretty decent shape now, but even he's chiseled, man. It's making me feel like I don't belong in the same species as him. All right, guys. Anything is possible. Can you see David Ayer directing? Anything is possible. He's respected in Hollywood. Yeah, that. All right, guys. We're at 46 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because we are in 11:31. So, all right, that was just a really quick conversation just to get you guys going. I'll have some other stuff to present. Oops, computer's jamming up. I'll have another stream tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be a semi-overnight or a Midnight Express, or I may even do a full-on live in the middle of the day because I'm off. So I may, do it from the store. So, all right, until then, guys, thank you for coming to the semi-overnighter, and we'll see you at some point today. See you later.